When she does come back, do you feel like...
I would not want to play the Indiana Fever, especially with a healthy Caitlin. I mean, that building, I got a little taste of it last year. And doing the Final Four, shows when she's on the court, when someone can really change the game in a couple moments like she could be quiet for 10 minutes and then pop, 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 it's 4 threes and the game's out of reach. And I think what the Fever are doing without her, that's going to help them in the future too, knowing that they can win a game when she's not on the court or she's not, at her best. That Fever team, I would not want to play them with a healthy Caitlin.
What if the most talked about season in basketball never actually happened? This was supposed to be the year Caitlin Clark took the WNBA by storm. The hype was real, the expectations were sky high, and then silence, an injury report, and then another, and then another. But what unfolded in the wake of that disappointment was a story nobody saw coming. This isn't a story about a triumphant return. It's a story about shattered expectations, a team's incredible fight, and a future that hangs in the balance. The truth about Caitlin Clark's lost season is more shocking than any fairy tale comeback. Caitlin Clark's sophomore season began not with a bang, but with a whisper of pain. The promise of a dominant year was almost immediately shadowed by a series of frustrating lower body injuries that would become a relentless theme. It started with a left quad issue in the preseason, an early warning sign that something was off. She defiantly returned for a brilliant 32-point game, a flash of her superstar potential that gave fans a reason to cheer. But the relief was tragically short-lived.
Walks there to the stanchion.
A left groin sprain sidelined her, forcing her to watch from the bench. Then, just as she fought her way back to fitness once more, a right groin injury in mid-July sent her to bench, fighting back tears and facing an even longer road to recovery. But the final, crushing blow came not in the heat of a game, but during a practice, a place where she was simply trying to ramp up her comeback. While participating in a full-court workout, Clark suffered a severe ankle sprain. She described a horrifying moment, saying, "My ankle completely rolled all the way forward," and called it probably one of the worst sprains I've dealt with. In her own words, the ankle injury was the ultimate setback because it didn't allow me to really see where my groin was at, completely halting all progress and leaving her in a state of suspended animation. She later revealed the painful truth that she never once gave up hope, always believing she would pull on that Fever jersey again before the season ended. Contrary to what many assumed, there was no moment where she decided her season was over. She maintained a full intention of returning until the very end, a mindset that she admits was the only thing that kept her going through the countless days of rehab and uncertainty. This wasn't just a story about physical pain. It was a brutal lesson in mental fortitude, teaching her how to lead from the sidelines, empathize with teammates, and observe the game from a completely new and often frustrating perspective. And while their star was sidelined, the Indiana Fever did something extraordinary. They became a different team, a resilient unit forged in the fire of adversity.
Yeah! And be free! You look back at the season from hell that the Fever had. None of us expected them to be in this situation. None of us expected them to be winning a very close Game 3.
With key players like Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hull, and Aaliyah Boston stepping up into larger roles, they clawed their way into the playoffs, defying the expectations of everyone who had written them off. They weren't just participants. They were legitimate contenders who refused to let their circumstances define their season. In a stunning upset, the shorthanded squad first took down the Atlanta Dream in the first round, proving their regular season grit was no fluke. Then they went toe-to-toe with the absolute powerhouse Las Vegas Aces in the semifinals, a series where they were undoubtedly the underdogs. The Fever's heart was on full display in a winner-take-all Game 5. Even after Kelsey Mitchell suffered a devastating leg injury and was ruled out for the remainder of the game, and even after Aaliyah Boston fouled out in the intense fourth quarter, this team somehow found another gear. They battled back in the final frame to tie the game, sending it to a breathtaking overtime against the reigning Giants. Though Las Vegas ultimately had more firepower in that extra period, winning 107-98, the Fever had proven their mettle. They proved they had a heart that beat far beyond any single player. It was a powerful message to the entire league. Write us off at your own peril. From the bench, an incredibly proud Caitlin Clark watched it all unfold, and after the final buzzer, she sent a strong message to the fans, writing on social media, "So much to be proud of, and shouting out to fans for staying with the team all year. This incredible journey, led by a roster many deemed too injured to compete, sets the stage for one of the most anticipated comeback stories in recent sports memory. If you're amazed by this team's heart, show us some love with a like for the Fever. It really helps us out. But the drama wasn't confined to the court. Off the hardwood, a different kind of battle was brewing. One that would strike at the very heart of the league's identity and its relationship with its players. The spark came from Minnesota Lynx star and Players Union president, Napheesa Collier, in a candid and withering critique. Collier pulled back the curtain on a private meeting with WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. She revealed a moment that sent shockwaves to the basketball community. The commissioner had allegedly stated that Caitlin Clark should be grateful for her massive off-court endorsement millions, essentially implying that without the WNBA's platform, she would have nothing. The statement landed like a cultural earthquake. For many fans and players, it felt like a dismissal of Clark's unique, market-moving star power and the individual hustle required to build a brand. But more importantly, it was seen as a tone-deaf comment that exposed a deep disconnect between the league office and the very athletes driving its growth. The basketball world held its breath, waiting for Clark's response. How would the league's brightest star, caught in the middle of this firestorm, react? When she finally spoke, Clark was direct, diplomatic, and powerful. Instead of making it personal, she elevated the conversation. Throwing her full support behind Collier, a respected veteran leader, Clark stated, "I have great respect for Fee. She made a lot of valid points." But she didn't stop there. She then delivered a line that would instantly define the moment for the entire league, calling the ongoing dialogue straight up the most important moment in this league's history. This wasn't just a simple agreement. It was a strategic alignment. By backing Collier, Clark united the new wave of stardom with the established guard of the league. She acknowledged that the conversation was bigger than any one player, including herself. It was about fundamental respect, fair valuation, and the future of the business model. Her statement forced everyone to pick a side. Were you for the players who built the league with their talent and labor, or for an administration that sometimes seemed to take that labor for granted? The controversy ripped off the Band-Aid, exposing long-simmering tensions about revenue sharing, charter flights, and marketing support. It was no longer just about injuries and playoff runs. It was about the soul of the sport. Was the WNBA a traditional sports league where the institution was paramount, or was a modern entertainment entity powered by charismatic, marketable individuals? Clark's ability to draw 20,000 fans to a road game and shatter television ratings wasn't just a happy accident. It was a market force, and her comments signaled that the players were now fully aware of their collective power. This defining moment created a clear before and after. It showed a new generation of athletes, led by figures like Clark and Collier, who are not just content to play, but are demanding a seat at the table to shape their own destinies and the financial future of the league they are carrying on their shoulders. So, where does Caitlin Clark go from here? With her season over and a long off-season ahead, a new opportunity emerged. The Unrivaled League, a 3-on-3 venture, reportedly offered her $1 million contract, more than 12 times her WNBA salary, to play this winter. But in a move that speaks volumes, Clark turned it down. For the second year in a row, she chose rest and recovery over a massive payday. This decision reveals her focus. It's not about the immediate money. It's about being 100% ready for 2026. It's about proving that this lost season was just a pause, not the end of the story. But let's be clear about what she's walking away from. This wasn't just any offer. It was a monumental deal. The reported $1 million offer from Unrivaled isn't just a figure plucked from thin air. To put it in perspective, her 2025 salary with the Indiana Fever is $78,066. That massive Unrivaled offer is more than she will earn from her entire 4-year, $338,056 rookie contract with the Fever. And Unrivaled isn't just throwing cash around. It's a serious league, founded by WNBA stars Napheesa Collier and Breanna Stewart. It's designed to be a high-paying domestic option for players in the offseason, with an average salary of over $222,000, which already beats the WNBA's regular maximum contract. Turning down that kind of life-changing money isn't a simple choice. It's a strategic statement. So why say no? The answer lies in the painful lessons of the last few months. Clark's 2025 season was derailed by a series of soft tissue injuries. It started with a left quad issue, then a left groin sprain, then a right groin injury, and the final blow was a severe ankle sprain in practice that she called probably one of the worst sprains I've dealt with. These weren't just isolated incidents. Her own coach, Stephanie White, publicly connected the physicality Clark faces in the WNBA to her repeated injuries, noting the constant, grueling load on her body. The Fever president, Kelly Krauskopf, confirmed that the ankle injury was a final signal that they needed to slow this down, making Clark's long-term health the absolute priority. After a season spent mostly on the sideline, the most valuable thing for Caitlin Clark isn't another paycheck. It's a fully healthy body. And this is where the script flips. By stepping away from the spotlight and the physical grind of Unrivaled, Clark isn't being passive. She's making a power move. Her goal is singular, to be in peak condition for the Fever's 2026 season. But rest and rehab don't mean she'll be completely away from competitive basketball. There's another, brighter opportunity on the horizon. Team USA. Clark has made it clear that playing the Olympics is a dream, and the path to the 2028 Los Angeles Games starts now. The national team has a qualifying tournament in March, which will be the perfect, low-stakes environment for her to return to the court, represent her country, and prove her readiness on a global stage without the week-in, week-out pounding of a full league schedule. This isn't just about coming back. It's about coming back with a purpose that aligns with her ultimate ambitions. Furthermore, this decision must be seen in the context of a league at a crossroads. Remember, the WNBA Players Union has opted out of the current collective bargaining agreement, CBA, and the two sides are racing against an October 31st deadline to avoid a work stoppage that could jeopardize the 2026 season. The entire league is fighting for "pay us what you owe us," as seen on the shirts worn by all stars this year. In this heated environment, Clark's choice to prioritize sustainable health over a massive, but potentially risky, off-season payday quietly underscores the very issues her colleagues are protesting. It highlights the difficult choices players are forced to make between their financial security and their long-term physical well-being. In the end, the narrative isn't about a player rejecting a league. It's about a superstar strategically investing in herself. The $1 million offer from Unrivaled was a test, and Clark's response was a masterclass in valuing longevity over short-term gains. She has planned a long game by focusing on recovery, a potential debut with Team USA, and a dominant return to the Fever. Caitlin Clark isn't just planning to come back in 2026. She's planning to come back better than ever, rewriting the end of a story that was interrupted, but is far from over. Caitlin Clark's 2025 season is a story of what might have been. It's a reminder that talent is only one part of the equation, and that health can change everything in an instant. Yet, from the ashes of that disappointment, we saw the true mettle of the Indiana Fever and heard the beginning of a crucial conversation about the future of the WNBA. Clark's journey this year wasn't about highlight reels and championship parades. It was about resilience, leadership from the sidelines, and the quiet, determined work of getting better when no one is watching. This lost season, frustrating as it was, may have forged something far more dangerous for the rest of the league, a complete team. The Fever are no longer just a Caitlin Clark show. They are a gritty, determined unit that knows it can win tough playoff games without its best player. They built an identity rooted in defense and heart. Now, imagine injecting a fully healthy, supremely motivated Caitlin Clark back into that ecosystem. It's not just about adding a superstar. It's about integrating a generational talent into a squad that has already learned how to win. The chemistry, the trust, the belief, it could all coalesce into a perfect storm. The comeback is being written right now in quiet gyms and training rooms, and the next chapter could be the most explosive one yet. The entire WNBA has been put on notice. The narrative for 2026 isn't about hope, it's about expectation. So what do you think? Will a fully healthy Caitlin Clark and this battle-tested Fever team be unstoppable next season? Can they go from a surprising playoff team to legitimate title contenders? Let us know your predictions in the comment below. We read every single one. And don't forget to subscribe for all the latest updates as this incredible story continues to unfold.